everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new. I'm Kirsten, and today's video is going to be all about some disappointing products that I still have in my collection. So I've got about 10 or 11 products, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. None of these products, well, there are a few. Most of these products aren't bad enough or disappointing enough that I'm going to be decluttering them, but there are a few that you might see in a decluttering video from me very soon. So let's just go ahead and jump into the products that made me want to make this video. So those are the Too Faced Melted Chocolate Matte Eyeshadows. So I bought these because Allie Glines mentioned them for several videos, almost like in a row on her channel, about how effortless these were, and how if you're having like kind of like a no makeup day or like a quick makeup day, you can just like throw it on the lid, blend it out, and you're done. I don't know who's doing that with these shadows. I have two shades here, and I should have just bought one to test it out, but I usually am like so happy with any recommendation from Allie Glines. I even bought the two shades that she recommended the most. I saw her use them. When I use these, it honestly, like half the time I end up taking it off and either trying it again or just like using powder shadows. So I just don't like this kind of like style product, I don't think, but it's just like extremely pigmented, and so it's hard for me to like blend it out and make it look like an effortless makeup look. So yeah, these are actually pretty expensive. I want to say they're like $20 each or like $18 each. I know they were on sale just the other day with the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, but I've had these for a while. I just, you know, they're not my favorite. I do prefer the Tiramisu shade a little bit more, so I will show you guys what these look like. This is the shade Tiramisu, and it's like more of a kind of grungy looking color, a little bit more of like a purple base, and then Warm and Fudgy is a lot more of like a warm brown color. Also, the applicators just like don't put off a lot of like even product, so that's this one here. I prefer the one on top, and I'm honestly considering getting rid of Warm and Fudgy. I don't know. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm a little bit disappointed with these products. They do dry down very matte, and I don't remember them creasing on me, but it's more of like the application process and the time it takes to make it look decent. Not good in my opinion, but like decent personally. Now, I know like the typical disclaimer of like anyone that makes this video is like, if any of these are your favorites, like by all means, they should be your favorites. You know what I mean? Like, I might like something that you hate and vice versa. So none of these things are like products that I absolutely hate, or I wouldn't have them in my collection. That's kind of where I see my collection at, but they're just like, they're not as good. They didn't live up to the hype or the expectation that I had set for them. So those were the two products that really just disappointed me enough that when I thought about them, made me want to make this video. So another one that has me a little bit disappointed is this Flower Beauty Heat Wave Bronzer. I have this in the shade Sunrise L1. You guys, I was so excited to try this. The CVS stores near me do not carry Flower Beauty, but when I found out they were at CVS, I sent my brother to the CVS near him, and I think my mom was with him too. And I'm FaceTiming him, like telling him what to pick. And he's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what a bronzer is. I'm like, give the phone to mom. So they got it figured out. But he picked them up for me at his CVS. And I know I could have ordered them. It wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, this is so red. Like, it does not work for me. So it just pulls so red on my skin. And I got the one that I felt was like more cool toned out of the two. But what do you guys think? Like, it's red. I honestly just like don't like this. If I go in with like a smidge too much product, it is just red all over my face. And even when I barely use any, I've got to like pull my hair back and blend it because I have lighter hair. I've got to like blend it into my hair, and it just makes my hair then look red, which I have like kind of strawberry blonde hair, and I try and avoid anything that makes it look red because I don't like that on myself. So yeah, this honestly, like, spoiler alert, will be in my next declutter video. Like, it's gotta go. I don't like it. It's unfortunate, but I just don't like it. The next product has me very disappointed because it kind of put me around, like, disappointed me, then I got excited, and then it disappointed me again. So it is the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush. If you guys saw my blush declutter video, you saw that I decluttered this one, but at the end of the video, I was like, you know what? I actually took the stopper out, and it's a lot better. And it is. It's better. But I think that, okay, so if you guys didn't see that video, what was happening is when I would swatch it, it was almost just like an oil, like the pigment wasn't coming out, and it like the pigment was getting stuck in the tube with the stopper. So I think from all the times that I had tried this blush and tried to get it to work, I kind of took all of like the oily kind of like blending mechanism of the product out. So then when I took the stopper out, like, yes, it swatches so much better. Like, it really does. So you can see here, it's like a very pigmented blush, but it does not blend on the cheeks. It just looks terrible. And it might just, I think it's because I kind of took all of those oils out. And honestly, I just like, I'm over it. Like, it's a little mini. It stinks that I don't like it, but I just don't want this anymore. This is another one along with the bronzer you're probably going to see from me soon that's coming out of my collection. And when I did that, I had someone comment that they had the same issue with their mini one, and so they took the stopper out and it made hers better as well. So that's awesome, and I hope that she hadn't used like as much of like the oily part as I had, and I hope that it worked better for her. But if you have this, it's definitely worth a shot, but it wasn't good enough for me, and I don't want to like add stuff into it and change the formula. Like, I'd rather use my Flower Beauty blush bombs and be done with it. The next product is one that will not be leaving my collection anytime soon, if ever, because I spent so much money on it, but it is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Quad. And the reason that this is making it into this video is because I'm going to be extra nitpicky with an expensive product. Like with a luxury high-end product, I'm going to be extra picky, right? So I have this quad, and I also have one from like Revolution, and there's one shade in that one. It's like a chunky gold that I don't use very much, but that quad's like $11. This one's what, like $50? So I'm more willing to kind of sacrifice one good shade in an $11 quad than in a $50 quad. And the shade specifically that I'm talking about is this one here, and it's like a topper shade. But I want to show you guys, I hope you can see here, it's got like hard pan in it, like a lot. So yeah, that really frustrates me because it's super expensive. Like I said, it even has hard pan in the shimmer shade above it. So I'll show you guys the shimmer shade on the top that I really like. It's very subtle, but it's so pretty. It's a lot more subtle here, I hope you can see. But the shade underneath it, that's supposed to be the topper shade, is just like almost like it's not there. So I'm going to show you a shade that I wish it was a little bit more similar to, and it's a little single from ColourPop. This was actually from the So Jaded palette, and it's the shade Diamond, but it's a Super Shock shadow. It's kind of like, I've seen Kelly Gooch talk about the Space Cowboy shadow from Urban Decay, and here's that one here. So I hope you can see the difference of like, it's just a little bit more reflective. And I think something like that would have been better in this quad. So I'm not saying like the whole product's disappointing, but it is disappointing that 25% of this $50 palette is a little bit disappointing. So next up, we have one that honestly just frustrates me that I even own this anymore, and it is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. If you're wondering, I have this in the shade Light 2 Vanilla. What frustrates me about this is not the formula, it's not the color, the undertone or anything like that. It is the packaging. So I have felt like this since I got it. I was like, okay, the formula is great. Like, I understand the hype, but what I don't understand is why I have to dip into the tube like 50 times to get that much product. Like, that's it. So I don't like that. I feel like I've got to like dip in the product to get underneath my eye, go back and get more, put it on my cheek, same thing on the other side, and like, it's just frustrating, you know what I mean? So for a very expensive, like more high-end concealer, it is aggravating, and I'm trying to use it up, and I will just be going back to one of my favorite concealers ever. I've used it up. I used it up, I think, in December, and I really miss it, and it's the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer, but I'm making myself finish one more concealer before I can buy that one. So it's between this one and the Omo Beauty one that I'm like almost done with. So we'll see which one comes first, but I am purposefully trying to finish that NARS concealer. Number one, they're not cruelty-free, and I'm trying to not keep cruelty-free or like non-cruelty-free products in my collection anymore, and also I don't want to be purchasing them anymore if I can help it. So yeah, that's one I definitely want to move out of my collection. I just cannot stand it, and it is very disappointing. On the cruelty-free spectrum though, we do have a new brand that is cruelty-free now, and that is EOS or EOS, and I got their little lip balm duo from Target. I think it's like the Sweet Mint Duo. This chapstick is terrible. Like, I've heard so many people talk about this and how it's great, and honestly, I feel like it dries my lips out more. Like, it feels great when you put it on, but then 5 minutes later, they feel more chapped than they did the 10 minutes before, you know, the reason I put this on in the first place. So this is super disappointing to me. It was inexpensive. It's like $5 for 2 of them, but I would rather have my $5 back. Like, this was super disappointing. So I am testing out like many chapsticks and lip balms and that kind of thing. So if you're interested to see like which ones I think are my favorite, I am going to be posting a video about that. I'm trying to find some from like different price points. I'm not rich, so most of them are going to be affordable chapsticks. But I am going to be trying a few like more higher end lip balms, chapsticks that I might already own or that I'll purchase for that video. But yeah, I've been really trying to find a good lip balm that like really hydrates the lips. So if you guys have any suggestions that you want me to try, let me know down below, because I am looking for some more to try. So this one's not going to make the cut. I will mention this like a little bit more in depth in that video, but it was very disappointing for me and I do not like it. The next product is one that like I really wanted to like, because Emily from Emily's Makeup Bag loves this mascara, and I think what it comes down to is the type of brush that it is, but I'm talking about the Tarte Maneater mascara. I've got a little mini here, and the part that is disappointing for me is just like the hype of it. I thought I would really like it, but what it comes down to is that this is a rubber bristle brush. I don't like those. I prefer like the natural bristle brushes. It's such a tongue twister, but I just don't like this style brush, and I actually didn't like the way it made my lashes look either. It just made them itch, and it just didn't give me the volume that I wanted. So this looks great on Emily and a lot of other people, but it just isn't for me. Next up is one that a lot of you are probably going to disagree, and I like debated not putting this in the video, but you know what, like just because it's someone else's favorite doesn't mean it has to be mine. I'm trying to remind myself of that. Like, I'm not required to love this staple foundation. Now, I want to preface that I think this shade is slightly too light for me, and I think that might be adding to it. But I did see that Taylor Wynn compared the cap that is this color, like the light like fuchsia purple color, to one that was in the light blue, and she said this formula is completely different than that one, and that she hated this one but she loved the blue cap. The problem is that, number one, I think I'm still too fair to use even the fairest one in that like light blue cap, and number two, I cannot afford to buy another foundation that's a high-end one just because the shade is wrong. Like, it's unfortunate that I, you know, kind of wasted my money on this one, but I can at least like mix it in with other things. But I bought this on Black Friday on sale, but I just think it's too light. For reference, I have the shade White Pearl T1N, and I really thought this would be like the perfect color for me. I'm going to play around with it more, but this is what it looks like. So it looks like it's my shade, right? I've got all of my like bronzer and stuff on, but hopefully you can see here like the color. I don't know. I've been using my Thrive Cosmetics Sisu cream every single day for the last couple of months. So once I finish that one, I want to use this again and give it another fair shot. But because of the hype, I was a little bit disappointed with this one, but it might just be because the shade's too light for me. I'm not really sure. So if you guys have had any kind of like bad experiences or like not good experiences with this, let me know, because I feel like I'm the only one over here that's having trouble loving this foundation. Next up, we have a single shadow from ColourPop. This is in the shade Cloud. It's a metallic shade, and I was just a little bit disappointed with the pigment of this shade. So I had this on my wish list for a while. I thought it was so pretty online, and I thought this would be like exactly what I wanted, but I just feel like you can hardly see it. So I will show you the difference of it with like the NYX glitter glue underneath it. Okay, so here's the one without the glitter glue, and then I will put this one here next to it. So it does make it a little bit better, but honestly, not that much of a difference. Like, even the glitter glue from NYX, which can fix like all shadows, did not fix this one. So yeah, this one is a little disappointing to me because I wanted it to be like a little bit more reflective, a little bit more foiled, and just like a little bit more of like a pop. But yeah, I did really look forward to using this shade, and honestly, I don't see myself reaching for this very much. So it was a little bit disappointing. Even though it was only like $2, it's still $2 that I would rather have in my pocket instead of the shadow in front of me. So, you know, it is a little bit disappointing, but at least it wasn't like a whole palette or something. But speaking of a whole palette, I have this palette that I want to mention, and I really like it. There was an aspect of it that really disappointed me. However, I reached out to the brand because I recently purchased this and they are making it right, so they're sending me a replacement. But I did want to mention it because if you guys have seen me, I've talked about this palette a lot, and if you buy it, I don't know if you'd buy it based on my recommendation. Like, I know I have a very small channel, but I have talked about it a lot, and it is the Chi Chi Cosmetics Pastels and Dreams palette. So it is this beautiful pastel palette, and I've been really enjoying it, but every time I mention it, like on my Instagram or on my channel here, and I hold it up, I just can't stop looking at this. And like, I know that's really superficial, and I know it's just like a minor thing, but it bothers me because essentially it's like the oils out of this shadow here, like seeping out, and I can't get it to stop. And so over time, that shadow is going to dry out. So there's a whole shadow like you can't use, and then I think it's going to kind of like start seeping into these, which are some of my most used shades. And so I worry about how that's going to go. And so I contacted them, and they said that they could assure me that it would not change the formula of it or anything, and like it wasn't going to like hurt me to use it. But I just, you know, I wouldn't be able to use this anymore, and I do think that the oil is going to start coming into these other pans. I've tried to stop it, like it is spreading so quickly, but I can't like, you know, tap the oils off, and it's just something that's like not appealing about the palette. I think it's a little bit defective, but they did mention that this is a new formula to them, and so they're still working on that. So hopefully the new one that they're sending me won't have that. But yeah, it was just like a little bit of a downfall, I guess, because when I open up the palette, that's the first thing I look at, and it's just like not pretty. And so, you know, when you pay a lot of money for a palette, or any money for a palette, you want it to look like the promotion pictures, right? Like the promotion pictures obviously did not have this like grease stain on it. So that is something that I really wanted to mention in this video. However, their customer service is really great, and they understood why I, you know, am a little bit disappointed with that, and they offered to send me a new replacement palette. So that is on the way, and I do want to applaud their customer service for that, because, you know, I understand like it's not completely broken, but I think them kind of making it right and sending me one that hopefully doesn't look like this will, you know, obviously help me to return back to their website, because had it not, you know, I don't really want to buy stuff from them that might end up looking like that, because it kind of is the experience, you know, like when you spend money on something, yeah, you're paying for the formula, but you're also paying for the packaging, and you want it to look appealing and nice and pretty. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing, but I did want to mention the better part of that, and I do think that their customer service is really transparent and really nice. So yeah, I did want to mention that. It's kind of like a extra mention or honorable mention. It's not like honorable because it's like a negative thing, but they did really turn it around, and so I think that's more of a positive. So when I receive the new one, I might try and find like a friend who doesn't mind that there and just would want to try out the pastel palette. But yeah, I do think that overall the palette's really great, so I don't, you know, I haven't changed my mind there, but it just was very disappointing to see like that shadow do that, and like I couldn't stop it from spreading. So yeah. But all right, you guys, those are the 11 products that I had to share with you that are a little bit disappointing for one reason or another, and some of which will probably be leaving my collection sometime soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down below if you guys love any of these products, or if they were also a little bit disappointing to you. I would love to know that. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.